Howdy folks, in today's video we're going to talk about the banking system again, a little bit of an update. You know, when I made the earlier videos I said that I believe the South African banking system is way advanced and way ahead of the Canadian one, and I do still maintain it. You know, in South Africa you've got the big four banks and they're all interconnected and everything runs very smoothly. But now since I've gotten used to the Canadian banking system and the Interac system, you know what, it's actually not bad, and it's definitely catching up very quickly. And obviously there's a whole lot of fintech startups that's making life easier to do international payments and transfers and stuff like that. So with the Canadian banking system, there's you know, one thing that well, I guess it is slowly going away now, but there's still the use of checks. People still use checks. I mean, we pay our rent by dropping off post-dated checks. With the business, I guess about 10% of companies still mail us a check. We get a check in the mail for how many ever $1,000. So people still use checks, but I guess there's also a lot less check fraud. I mean, in South Africa, a check wasn't worth the paper it was written on purely because of all the fraud that was going on. And then EFTs, you can do funds transfers, so you can, once you have somebody's banking details and everything, you can load him on your account just like our EFTs at home, and you can make payments up to basically any amount. You do have your limits. And then of course their general use system is the Interac system. So that's in between banks, where you just basically you pay money to an email address or to a phone number. You send cash to an email address or to a phone number, and that person can then go and take that cash and deposit it into any one of their bank accounts. Now the Interac system actually works quite nice, but it's got a limit. I think it's a $5,000 limit if you are a business. I'm pretty sure after a while you could actually increase the limits. So that works quite nice, but one thing you just got to watch out for. So you can go and register your email address to your bank account. Now, if you're like us that have more than one bank account, we've got an account at BMO and an account at RBC, Royal Canadian Bank. But the problem is now I went and registered my email address at the RBC account. So anybody that sends money to my Interac, it automatically deposits it into my RBC account. So you can register your email address or your phone number to a specific account, and then money sent to that email or phone number just goes straight into the account, which is cool on the one side. But if you've got more than one account, it becomes a little bit of a problem, you know, because you can't send money to that account, you can only send to this account. So then you better have another email address that you can register there so you can send money to that account. What happens is if you don't register your email address and somebody sends money to that email address, what happens is you get an email that says, hey, somebody sends you money, and if you open the email there's a number of banks. You can click on BMO or RBC or whatever, and you just click on that bank and you log in, and then you deposit the money. The Interac system also have a security question type of setup. So in other words, if I'm sending money to somebody, I can add a security question. So I can say, what's this money for? And then I can have an answer. So in other words, the bank will send them an email to say that they've received money, and there's a security question, and it will show them the question, and then I can send them the answer to the question, and then they can deposit the money. So it's actually not a bad system once you get used to it. I mean, it's fairly immediate. Within 15 to 20 minutes the money is there, sometimes even quicker. So it's really, you know, it works. And then, but you know, then you go to Costco and they don't take Visa credit cards, they only take MasterCard credit cards, and they only take Interac cards. So at RBC, when you get a card, a bank card, it's only an Interac card. It's not a MasterCard or it's not a Master or Visa debit card. It's just an Interac debit card. So if you are opening an account at RBC, you gotta make sure to ask that they do a Visa card for you as well. So it's a Visa or a MasterCard Interac that you can do both. Otherwise, the card doesn't have an expiry date and a CVC number, so you can't use it online for anything. BMO gives straight Visa cards. So the banking system, it works. You can get stuff done quickly, and there's a lot of changes. One thing that I am noticing is that there's a lot of changes. Also, oftentimes people ask about sending money abroad. Now, I mean, there's like a myriad of systems that you can use. There's just so many different options. But what I use mostly, when I'm paying contractors in the rest of the world, we've got people all over the world: South Africa, India, US, UK, Switzerland, everywhere. What I use when I pay people there, I pay them with a tool called Veem. It's actually a Canadian company. Started using it before we came to Canada. But yes, VEEM. And what you do is you connect it directly to your bank account and you make a payment to somebody. They take the money out of your account, convert it, and push it into that person's account on the other side. So that's my favorite way of paying people internationally, people that work for me. And then, of course, there's, it's not 100%, because especially paying to South Africa, there's a couple of extra fees involved. But it's not bad. Most of the money that you send gets there on the other side. It's actually quite good. Then there's the other one, Wise. It used to be TransferWise. Now it's just called Wise. They do international money movement. But I don't like Wise that much, because Wise, if you send money to South Africa, there's always like this stupid 95 Rand fee. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 95 Rand's 95 Rand. If I'm paying somebody 1,500 Rand, I've got to pay 1,595 Rand. Now, Wise also connects to your bank account, but Wise also gives you virtual bank accounts in the Wise system. So people can pay money to those accounts. It doesn't have to go into your physical bank. It can sit in the Wise bank, and you can convert it and send it across the world. So Wise is actually a really cool tool. I do have an issue though, because my Wise doesn't want to connect to RBC. Every time I try and do that, they go, "Oh, there was a problem, contact RBC and complain." So apparently there's some sort of disconnect between Wise and RBC and between Wise and BMO. They just don't connect, which isn't ideal. So we mostly use Veem. And Veem and Wise are our two main payment tools that we use to send money around the world. That's it. Canadian payments. What do we use to pay? What do we use to send money? Which is the best bank? I don't know. I really don't. I haven't tried them all. I've been with RBC and BMO. RBC, BMO, both very friendly banks, very helpful. The actual interfaces online, not that great. We haven't tried the BMO app because it's only available in the Canadian App Store, and we still have US App Store. We're still connected to the US App Store on our phones. So that's a bit of a pain, because if we disconnect from the US App Store, then we lose everything that we've purchased over time in the US. So nightmare. Any which way, you all must have a good one. Cheers.